Let her join. Yeah, she joined. Okay. Yesterday we discussed about regarding this three schema architecture. Okay. Today we will continue the same with data independence. We'll continue with the data independence topic and database languages, various database languages. Is screen is visible to all of you? Is my screen is visible?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Yes. Data independence. The data independence is nothing but which defines the data independence can be defined as the capacity to change the schema. See here now we are having three schemas. Okay, one is, let me take just a minute. Okay, now once I choose the pen, that the point is so small, even I am not able to see it. Okay, no problem. This is external schema, and here the conceptual schema is there. Okay, and internal schema are a physical level. Okay, so internal schema, then conceptual schema, and external view or external schemas. Three schemas will be there. Yesterday we discussed about this thing in detail. Okay, then what is data independence? Independent means a separate. Got it? So data independence can be defined as the capacity to change the schema. See here now, what is data independence? It is the capacity to change the schema. Okay, there are three schemas. Those schemas can be changed. Okay, which schema has to be changed? It is the capacity to change the schema at one level of database. It is the capacity to change the schema at one level of database system without having to change the schema at the next higher level. See here now, it means that it is the capacity to change the schema at one level of database system without having to change. See here now, without having to change the schema at the next higher level. Means if you changed any, sorry, where is our cursor? Yeah, if you changed anything over here, if you change the schema, conceptual schema, that should not be affected in the external schema. Here there should not be any changes. Those changes cannot be visible in the external level because it's a higher level. It's the external view is higher level than the conceptual schema. So whatever you make the changes in the conceptual schema, that cannot be seen at the external level. Got it? Similarly for where is this? Okay, then if you make any changes in the internal schema, that should not be affected in the conceptual schema, or it should not be affected in this external view. So because internal schema is the lower side, conceptual and end users or external views are at the higher side. So if you make any changes in the internal schema, that should not be seen or that should not be affected by, or that there should not be any changes done in the conceptual as well as external level. What it? If you make any changes in the conceptual schemas, that can be seen in, that cannot be seen in the external level or at the higher level. Hope it is clear. Okay, that is nothing but a data independence. What is data independence? Data independence can be defined as a capacity to change the schema. It is a capacity to change the schema at one level. At one level means either you can change it here, either if you change it here, then this is not affected. If you change at this point, then you cannot changes the you cannot see the changes in the conceptual as well as this. Okay, the changes, capacity to change the schema at one level of database system without having to change the schema at the next higher level. Next higher level means for internal schema, which is the next higher level? Conceptual schema. What if it is for conceptual schema, which is the next higher level? External schema or external level or external view is the next higher level. So we can define two types of data independence. Okay, one is where is this? One is logical data independence and second one is physical data independence. Logical data independence and physical data independence. We'll see which are those logical independence and what is this physical data independence. The logical data independence is the capacity to change the conceptual schema. See, all the logics will be there at the conceptual schema. What is that conceptual schema? So there will be having the concept of how it has to be implemented. Okay, which are the various student database, how it is, how it looks like. Okay, what are its constraint, what are its this thing, what it fields. Okay, then how it is related to other things. So all the concepts will be there at the conceptual schema. So logical data independence is the capacity to change the conceptual schema without having to change the external schema or application programs. See, if you make any changes in this conceptual schema, if you make any changes in this conceptual schema of a architecture, 3-level architectures, okay, then it should not be affected in the external schema or application programs. Here application programs will be there. Those programs need not to change, just you have changed the concept, but it doesn't mean that you need not to change anything in these external schemas or application programs. This is called as logical data independence. This is called as logical data independence. What is that logical data independence? It is the capacity to change the conceptual schema without having to change external schemas or application programs. This is nothing but logical data independence. We may change the conceptual schema to expand the database. See, to expand the database, we may change this, but it doesn't mean that we need to be changed here. No, we cannot go for changing anything to the external schemas. Just we made changes over here. These changes will affect in the lower side, but should not be affected in the higher side. Got it? To change the constraint or to reduce the database, in case in the last case, like external schema that refer only to the remaining data should not be affected. Means if you want to change any constraint over here. Okay, name is not having a not null constraint, that you can remove it, so that will not going to affect in the external schemas, but definitely it will be affected in the internal schemas. Okay, assume that university seat number is a primary key, just you remove it. Okay, that cannot be affected to the external schemas, because it will see the same thing whatever it is there, whether it is a primary key, foreign key, etc., but that will not be affected in the application programs, but definitely it will be affected in the internal schemas, because it will going to store duplicate values when there is no primary key. Got it? So this is what a logical independence. This is what the logical independence. Hope it is clear. Okay, is there any doubt over here? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, what is physical data independence? What is physical data independence? Physical data independence is the capacity to change the internal schema. Internal schema is what? This. This is the schema. It is the capacity to change this internal schema without having to change this conceptual schema. Without making any changes to the conceptual schema, you can go for changes in the internal schemas. That is nothing but a physical data independence. Got it? Hence, the external schemas need not to be changed as well. Okay? If it is not affected means obviously this will not also be affected. Got it? Changes to the internal schema may be needed because some physical files were recognized by creating additional access structures to improve a performance, to retrieval of updates, etc. For that kind of things you can make a changes. Okay, if you want to have a access paths for past retrieval, that kind of changes if you make it in the internal schemas, that will not be affected in the conceptual schema. See here, now there are 10,000 students database is data is there in the database. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll make it a path in such a way that I can extract information very quickly. So if for that I'll going to make some changes in the internal schema, but that will not be affected in the conceptual schema. That is not affected in the conceptual schema. Physical data independence exists in most databases and file environment where the physical details such as the exact location of the data on disk, the hardware details of the storage, encoding, placement, compression, splitting, merging records and so on can be done on the, because all the data will be there in the database. So all these things can be done in the internal level. So for that you can make some changes in the internal schema. If you make any changes in the internal schema, then it will not going to affect, or you need not to make any changes in the conceptual schema as well as external schemas. This is what the logical and physical data independence. Is there any doubts? Any doubts over here?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, next we are going to discuss about one more important topic, that is called as a database languages and the interfaces. Which are all the database languages will be there? Which are all the various database languages? Got it? A data definition language, DDL, not DDLC. Okay, it is DDL, data definition language. Then data manipulation language, DML. DML is nothing but data manipulation language. Okay, and other languages will be there. We will go to see in these things. The DBMS must provide appropriate languages, and interfaces. What is this interface? What is the interface? Interface means what? Interface means what? Hello? Anyone? What is meant by interface?
Yes, sir.
What is meant by interface? Languages, you know.
Sir, exchange information, sir.
What?
Exchange information, sir.
Pardon? Sujit.
Interact.
Sir, exchanging information, sir.
Okay. Then Kiran.
Sir, communication, sir. Interaction or a communication between two things, sir.
Okay. Fine. Good. Then Ria.
Same as Kiran, sir. Communication between two or more than data or paths, sir.
Okay.
Interaction.
Okay. Soumya.
Same, sir. Communication between two or more person or phases.
Okay. Fine. Sumaya. Sumaya.
Yes, sir. Same, sir. It is a communication between two or more paths, sir.
Lena.
I don't know, sir, exact meaning.
Okay. Anyone, can you give an example for the interface? See here now. This is the screen. Are you able to see the screen, my screen? Okay. This is the interface for software Google Meet. It is the interface for the Google Meet software. What is that Google Meet? So it will going to communicate between us and its software. Okay, so it will establish the connection, whatever. Okay, so we are having a set of things here. Okay, I can directly ping to this Kiran. Okay, then I can what should I do? I can remove him, and I can see the attendance, and I can log out. I can mute my microphone. I can on my cameras. Okay, I can make a presentation. Okay, I can turn on captions. These are all the various interfaces. This is the interface provided by Google Meet. It is the interface. It is the nice interface provided by the Google Meet. See here now, set of the things can be done at this. Okay, I can mute all of them, and I can unmute only Soumya. So this is interface. How can I do that? This is through interface. We are having the interface. Now, using that, okay, I am establishing the connection. Okay, I can do set of things. Got it? So this is nothing but the interface. Like this, for database management system, for that software also needs to provide, it has to provide some interface. It has to provide some interface. Interface for what? Okay, to make a connection or to interact with that software, database management database. If I want to establish the connection or interact with the database, okay, I need an interface. Software is there, software has to provide some interface. Okay, through that interface I can communicate. Got it? So this is what the interface is. Okay, in your mobile, okay, you will be having the interface. How do you make a call? So you'll on your this thing, okay, mobile, unlock it, then you will get the interface. So you choose calling symbol, okay, then you select a particular number and you press a dial for it. It is an interface for calling. What is the interface for WhatsApp? Okay, WhatsApp is having a nice interface, you can call it as. Got it? So you can see the status, you can see the notifications, you can see various things. Got it? So that is the interface for WhatsApp. Like this, each and every application will be having its own interfaces. Some of them are interactive, some of them are not interactive. Like this, it depends on the application. Okay, that is nothing but the interface now. Okay, good. Now the DBMS must provide appropriate languages and interfaces for each category of users. There are various categories of users, like actors on the scene. Who are those? They are called DBAs, okay, database administrators, database designers, and end users and software engineers. Okay, end users, again it is a sophisticated end users, casual end users, and one more, who are those naive end users, are parametric end users. And these people are using the database. What they are doing? They are interested more in the database. Okay, how they are communicating? Their database will be having huge amount of data. Okay, they need to play with that, play with those datas, right? How do they play? Will they put hand and remove the information from that? No. Okay, for that we are having a software. Okay, for that we are having a software. Okay, and we are having a set of languages. We have a set of languages which can establish the communication between that database and what is this? A user. Got it? Various categories of users. Okay, in this database languages and interfaces, we are going to study types of languages and various types of interfaces provided by this database management system, and the user categories targeted by each interface. Okay, what type of users are interested in what type of interfaces, all those things we are going to discuss now. Okay, now first one is, first look at the database management system languages, then we'll go for what is that? Interfaces, various types of interfaces. See, once the design of a database completed, once the database design of the database is completed, okay, design is completed now, and this is database management software is chosen to implement. Now we need to implement it. Design is ready, blueprint is ready, now we need to construct the house, right? In the same way, we need to choose the database management system is selected for implementation. What you will going to implement? Database you will going to implement. What is the first step? Is to specify the conceptual and internal schemas. In the construction or in the implementation, which is the first step? So, is to specify which are the conceptual and internal schemas for the database. And any mapping between the two. So, already we have seen here. First step in database design is choosing the conceptual schema and internal schema. Okay, choosing between these things. Got it? And between two and sorry. In many database management systems where no strict separation labels maintained, okay, one language called a data definition language. This data definition language, it is used for DBA. It is used by the DBA. Which language that the DBA will going to use? He will going to use a data definition language. For what? He wants to design, implement the database. For implementing a database, okay, then for implementing that conceptual schemas or internal schemas, okay, we need a data definition language, which is most frequently used by database administrators and by database designers. This what is that data definition language will be used for designing of the conceptual schema and internal schemas, and these languages are used by who are those are called as DBAs and database designers. We have two types of first two types of users are DBAs, database administrators, and database designers. These people use this, what is this, data definition languages. Data definition languages. Then this DBMS will have a DDL compiler. You see, for every language you need a compiler. For C compiler will be there. For C++, C++ compiler will be there. And for Java compiler will be there. See, for every language, first we need to write the program using the languages, various kinds of languages, and once the program is written with respect with particular language, then it is having its own compiler. It is having its own compiler for execution, for checking that program whether it is a right or wrong. Got it? Similarly, for a data definition language, we are having the DDL compiler, data definition language compiler, whose function is to process data definition language statements in order to identify the descriptions of the schemas constructs. Means where data definition language statements, whatever they have used for writing the data definition, for internal schemas, implementing the internal schemas or conceptual schema, whether those things are right or wrong. Got it? For that we are having the DDL compilers. DDL compilers. In database management systems where clear separation is maintained, like conceptual schema is different, external schema is different, and internal schemas are different. Got it? So between the conceptual and internal levels, the DDL is used to specify the conceptual schema only. Okay, only you can create those things conceptual level with the help of the DDL. Then next is the storage. Where is that storage? Internal level. That for that internal level where the storage of the data can be takes place. Got it? So another language is called as the storage definition language. Another language is called as the storage definition language. Okay, that is called as SDL. That is called as SDL, which is used to specify the internal schema. Internal schema is specified by SDL. Conceptual schema is specified by DDL. Okay, DDL is nothing but data definition language. SDL is nothing but storage definition language. Storage definition language, which is used to specify the internal schema. Then mapping between two schemas may be specified either one of these languages. Okay, mapping can be done either of this data definition language or data storage language, storage definition languages. Okay, these are the two things, two languages. Then we are having a view definition language. We have seen a conceptual schema. Let me write it here. Okay, let me choose a pen. See, this conceptual schema is done with the help of, implemented with the help of DDL, data definition language. Okay, this internal schemas can be implemented with the SDL. SDL is nothing but a storage definition language. Storage definition language. Okay, and we have one more level. We are having one more schema that is called as view schema or external schemas. Okay, external views you can call it as. For that we are having the view definition language. For that we are having VDL. VDL is for this view definition language can be implemented with the help of external schemas or implemented with the help of view definition language, which is to specify the views and their mappings of the conceptual schemas, which is used for implementing this external level. So these are the three different languages which are meant for different conceptual different schemas. For internal schema we are having the storage definition language. For conceptual schema we are having the data definition language. For implementing the external views we are having the view definition language. Hope it is clear. Now next we are having, once the database schemas are compiled and the database is populated with the data, users must have some means to manipulate. Now see here, now you have written the program for external view with the help of view definition language. You have written the program for a conceptual schema for designing the concepts with the help of data definition language. Then we used a storage definition language for implementing the internal schemas with the help of storage definition language. Once you have implemented and compiled these programs, okay, compiled these databases, compiled these programs, and the database is ready now. Database is populated, means it is given for use. Once the program is run, okay, you compiled it, you debugged all the errors and you give it for the use. Okay, once the software is ready, okay, you check all the errors and all those things, and once it is ready, once it is error free, then it can be given it for the use. In the same way, all the languages with VDL, DDL and SDL, you have implemented the database. Then once it is implemented, then it has to be given for the use. Then typical manipulation includes I need to retrieve the data, I need to include the data. Okay, so I want to insert some data into that. I want to what is that? I want to retrieve the data. I want to change some value. I want to change the definition. I want to change something. So example, you have created the student database. You have created the student database. Student database, once you have created, so it is ready now. It can be used, you can use it for next storage of the student values. So what I am going to do, I am going to store some values, student information. First name is this, last name is this, his roll number is that, phone number is this, etc. Okay, then similarly I can store n number of values and I can delete some values. I can change the value. First name I am going to modify it. Okay, I am going to if there are any errors in the names and all those things, I can debug those or means update it. So these are all the things can be done. For this we are having one language. Okay, this database management system provides a set of operations or languages for this kind of things, for storing, modification and deletion. Okay, then insertion, retrieval, etc. For that language is called as data manipulation language. What is that? Next one, we are having a data manipulation language that is called as DML. That is called as data manipulation language. This is for what? This is for inserting, deletion, modification, etc. You can do it. This is called as data manipulation language. Then this all about various types of this thing. Okay, this DML can be used by people called various peoples, like those who are using the end users, we can call it as all the end users can, or end users or software engineers, anybody who are using. Okay, and sophisticated end users, casual end users, parametric end users, all that those peoples are using. Okay, these languages, this is called as data manipulation language. That is called as data manipulation languages. Okay, is this thing is clear?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts?
No,
What is
sir.
time now? Okay, another 20 minutes is there. Let me take database interfaces. Okay, let me complete it. So once again I'll recap. We're having a DDL language, data definition language, is to implement the conceptual schema. Okay, we're having storage definition language to implement the internal schemas. Okay, so internal schema and conceptual schema can be mapped with any one of these languages. Okay, once these two are implemented, and next we will go to implement visual definition language. Visual definition language can be implemented for the sake of this external level or external views. Okay, after compiling all these DDL, SDL and VDL, okay, the database is ready now. The database is ready now. With the help of this database, that can be used, it can be given for the use. Okay, once how to use it? For that also we need a language. That language is called as a data manipulation language. That data manipulation language is nothing but where we can do the various end users can use this DML for storing the data, for retrieving the data, for changing the value of the data, and they can delete it, they can modify it, they do all such kind of things. For that we are having the data manipulation language. Manipulation. Data can be manipulated. Manipulation is nothing but you can change or you can insert or you can delete whatever. This is called as, for this purpose we are having a language called DML, data manipulation language. See, this for DML, data manipulation language. Okay, high level, where is this? High level or non-procedural language, and it is classified into two: low level and procedural language. Non-procedural and procedural. Okay, so non-procedural language is nothing but a SQL, relational languages like structured query language. It comes under a high level language. Okay, retrieve the data one record at a time. Okay, if you want to retrieve the data one record at a time, only one tuple, only one row at a time is called as is done at the low level. Okay, procedural language. Next we are having database interfaces. Next we are having a database interfaces. Now, what is this database interface? Now let me turn off, just a minute. Yeah. Okay. See, what is this database interface? Database management systems interface. User-friendly interfaces provided by this database management system may include the following, like menu interface, menu-based interfaces. Already we know what is that interface. Okay, so we have seen a interface for Google Meet. We have seen the interface, so set of things can be done. In the same way, database management system also provides a set of interfaces, user-friendly interfaces. User-friendly interfaces. One is a menu-based interfaces for web clients or browsing. See here now, menu-based. Menu-based means a set of things will be there. If you go for, see here now, best example, let me take example. With this I'll go to explain, just a minute. AITM.ac.in, I think. See, if I take this Google itself, okay, this Google itself is also menu based interfaces. Example, see here now, here menu for Gmail. If I click this, I'll go to Gmail. If I click this, I'll go to email. Okay, if I click on this, I'll go for various apps. Okay, this kind of interfaces are called as a menu based interface. Some websites will be there. AITM. Here it is there. Yeah, AITM BGM is there. Okay. Now, see, this is our college website. Okay, which provides a menus for here, menus for this website for interaction purpose. If I click on this home button, okay, home page will be displayed. If I click on this about us, okay, about the management, vision, mission, okay, core values of at AITM, scholarship, all these things will be displayed. So when I click on this about the management, it will go to a database and fetch the management records, management pages. Okay, now I got the management. If I go to click on this, okay, various things, menus will be there here. Again, diploma will be there, UG will be there, PG will be there. In the PG we are having MCA, then we'll going to extract the information of the MCA. From where it is coming? It is stored somewhere in the database, so it will be, we are fetching that information. See, these are the various menus. Okay, these are the various menus. So menu based interfaces for web clients or a browsing. Now I want to browse this website for extracting the information. These interfaces present the user with a list of options called menus, like a menu called about us, admissions, academics, research, training and placement, incubation, knowledge center, contact us. These are all the various menus. These, with the help of these, we can interact with the database. Menus do away with the need of memorize the specific commands and syntax for query language rather than query composed step by step. So just where I am not remembering any of the steps here, just I am choosing a particular thing and getting the information. Okay, so these are called as web based user interfaces or menu based interfaces for web clients or browsing. Got it? So one more we are having what is called in web based user interfaces, they are also often used in browsing the interfaces. They are also using the browsing the interfaces. So we are browsing the interfaces called incubation. Again, we are having some more set of things. If I go for this infrastructure, this, again I'll go to this. Then research, again I'll going to get a list of things. Got it? This is called as menu based interfaces or web client browsing. Then apps for mobile devices. Apps for mobile devices. In your mobiles there are so many apps will be there. Each, as in the previous 10 minutes before I discussed, okay, to contact, okay, open the phone book, you are having a interface. For the what do you call it, for seeing the messages of the WhatsApp, you are having the interface. If you don't have an interface, then it is very difficult for the user to interact with the or make a communication, okay, or use that apps. Got it? These interfaces, the apps or mobile devices, apps for mobile devices, these interfaces present a mobile user with the access their data. Okay, I can access the data of WhatsApp, okay, what I have sent in your group, okay, all the information previous I can go through, and all the set of things can be done in that thing with the help of this. Like for example, I will tell you, if everybody will be having some UPIs, like banking for transactions and all, like PhonePe, Google Pay, etc. For those things also we are having these things, and you can make reservations, you can pay the electricity bill, you can pay the water bill. Okay, all these things can be done with the help of these apps. Okay, those apps will provide a proper and simple, okay, solution for or interfaces for what these apps. What it? That is also one of the app. Then next comes form based interfaces. form based interface is nothing but you are asked to fill some forms like an examination form, CET form, okay, for applying the job, okay, you will going to fill some forms, example Google forms, okay. So some fields will be there, you need to have some data need to be filled. These form based interfaces displays a form to each user. Users can fill out all the form entries to insert a new data. See here now, if I send a Google form to you people, okay, so Sujit will going to enter his name, okay, and his name will come and sit in his database as a one tuple, and his registered number, okay, it will come and sit in one place, and his contact number it will come and sit in its column. So entire thing is treated as a one row or one tuple, or we can call it as a one record of a table. Then Kiran's, it is a second record of the table, Riya third record of the table, Sumaya fourth record, Soumya fifth record, Sneha sixth record, and Akash and Leena. Like this all the 8 records and come and sit in their places. See, so every record will be whatever you fill, it is a different value. Got it? So what is that? Every person will going to fill the form for as a entries. Now many database management systems have forms specification languages, which are special languages that help programmers specify such forms like SQL forms, okay, Google Sheets, okay, Google Forms, etc. Okay, so these are all form based interfaces. Okay, I'll send a form and you will going to enter your values, and that will be stored in the database. Got it? So how the things can be stored? With the help of these forms. Got it? And next one is a graphical user interface. Graphical user interface. This graphical user interface typically displays a schemas, such as displays schemas to the users diagrammatic form. Okay, so some diagrams will be given, some these things will be given. Like example, if you want to edit the, see here now, is there any diagram over here? Okay, let me see it. Any diagrams in my this thing? No diagrams. Okay, so let me take this as a diagram. Okay, let me take a print screen. Then what I'll do, I'll open Paint. Now see here now, what I'll do, I'll paint this. Okay, this is the diagram now. Okay, what I'll do, these are the graphical user interfaces. See here now, I want to brush anything. Okay, I want to make a print. Okay, I want to erase, I want to this. Okay, fill the color, so this color will be filled. Okay, so I want to make a text. Okay, I want to draw a square here. Okay, see all these things, I can fill the color in this. Okay, which color is there? I don't know. Oh, black is there. Now it is not there. See here now, these are all the user interfaces. Let me save it and you can see it later. Just a minute. Desktop, where is desktop? Okay, now Untitled. See here now, let me open it in another app. Is it there? See here now, I open this same image in this. Here also edit picture will be there. Then you can rotate it here. Some graphics are given instead of in the form of text. Okay, they have not written rotate image here. Okay, this edit the picture. I'll press it. So I'll got some set of these things. Okay, I can resize. Okay, some graphs will be there. I can crop it. See here now, for that crop we are having again graphs. Okay, so this can be done. Okay, this can be done, all these things. So this is what you can do, all those things. Graphs are given for the user interactions, for easily I can say, make it, okay, make it possible for this. Okay, so this is what the things, graphs are given. See here now, here for this is for saving, this is for printing, these are graphs. Got it? And you can see, you can undo, okay, you can cut it. Okay, these are graphs given for user interactions that will make more flexible for the users. Even the illiterate persons can also come and work on the same. Illiterate person can also come and work on the same. Got it? These are called as graphical user interfaces. These are called as graphical user interfaces. Next, we have, what is that? What you call it as a natural language interfaces. These interfaces accept the request written in English. Okay, so language is given instead of this thing like English language and all those things, and with the help of those we can interact with the databases. And some were keyword based database searches, example Google search. Okay, if you go for Google search, what will be there? Where it is? Google will be there. Okay, so whatever the keyword you will going to give, it will give the information related to that. It will give the information related to that. See, if I press video, okay, then I can extract the so many things related to video. These all the relations. Again, if I press on particular, again on the same, again I'll get so many information related to particular thing. Got it? So this is called as a key based database search. This is called as key based database search. This is an interface. Okay, next one is speech input and output. Speech input and output. So some of your mobiles are supporting Series. Okay, Siri means you can give the input as by talking. You can give voice as an input. Okay, you can tell your mobile to call so and so, then it will open that contact and you can dial the call. Okay, open gallery, so it will open the galleries. Got it? So like this you can do that. So speeches are the input and output devices. And next one is interface for parametric users. Parametric users, as we studied, like a bank tellers, okay, bank managers, they will be having set of things, fixed things. Okay, they are going to do only those things frequently. For them, for saving, they will give some functional keys. For retrieving the amount, they give this thing. Okay, they specify some functional keys for various operations. Okay, that kind of interfaces they have provided. For they are having set of interfaces, fixed interfaces. They will going to work on the same thing. Bank managers, then reservation counters, etc. Those people. Okay, then another interfaces for a DBA is another. It is another data interface. DBA. Most database systems contain privileged commands that can be used only by the DBA staff. Means now DBA will give you. He can change your password. He can change the username, and you can change the privilege. Okay, if you are manager, then your privileges are different. If you are other person, end user, and your privileges are different. If you are a student, your privileges are different. Like this, you will be having different privileges that can be assigned by the DBA staff, database administrator staff. He is having a different interface. These includes the commands for creating the accounts. Okay, DBA can create the account and he can delete the account, he can modify the account. Those things can be done by this DBA. He is having a different interface. These are the various interfaces. Which are those? Interface for DBA, then interface for parametric end users, and speech input and output as an interface. Okay, and keywords based database interfaces, searches and natural language interfaces, graphical user interfaces, and form based interfaces,